Welcome to the Dremel Like a Boss YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to use a clipper to maintain your dog's paw pads. So we're going to actually clip the fur around your dog's paw pads today. So I want to level set your expectation here. I am not a professional groomer. I come to all my videos on this channel and in everything I do in Dremel Like a Boss as a trainer. I'm a professional dog trainer. And as an owner of a double-coated breed. I have a Newfoundland named Jibe. She's in almost every video you see. So everything I do is to help dog owners maintain the health of their animal, of the dog in their home, to be able to do these procedures yourself so that the owner can do it, and to teach you these techniques using as little force and as little stress as possible for you and your dog. So that's my goal, to help dog owners maintain healthy animals, mostly with foot care, especially nail trimming, and to help you learn protocols and to get training advice around grooming that is less stressful for your dog, so that they're wanting to do these procedures. You're not having to force them to do everything. You can get a more lasting effect if you approach it in that way. Okay, so I just wanted to level set that, I am not here to teach you how to professionally groom your dog. That is not what these videos are for. Okay. All my tactics have the health of your animal as forefront, not for beauty reasons, all right? I love a beautiful looking dog. I have a Newfoundland, and there's a reason I have a Newfoundland. I love having that type of animal, but that's not at the forefront. The forefront is the health of your dog. So let's talk about why we need to trim the fur around your dog's pads. So, especially for older dogs, you can really reduce slipping on floors, going places, vet offices, grooming areas, by making sure there's no fur that's covering the pads. So when all their pads are exposed, they just have better grip. They can maneuver flooring easier. It just reduces injury. So for older dogs, when they try to get up off the floor and they're navigating a slippery surface, having no fur around their pads helps them do that. And then for our younger dogs, or anybody who's doing sports with their dogs, they're just going to have better contact if there's not hair in between the pad and the surface. So again, it just reduces injury. Whether you have an older dog or a younger dog, it's just going to be one of those things you can do to help reduce injury. It's a great preventative measure. So that's why trimming the hair around our dog's pads is important. And for some of you, if you have a short hair breed, you're not really probably going to do it until maybe when they're older. When they're older, I would still look at your dog's feet, make sure that that hair is getting worn off. So a lot of dogs with shorter hair, just walking your dog is maintaining that pad fur. But as they get older and they're not getting walked as much or as long, sometimes the fur grows and it's never grown before. So you may just have to maintain it as they get older. So let's talk about, as we go into the steps, so I'm actually going to demonstrate some techniques for you. But I want to first say I am making an assumption in this particular video that you have already introduced your dog to a clipper. There are a few videos on this channel, on the Dremel Like a Boss channel, that shows you how to introduce a grooming prop to your dog, whether you have, whether it's easy or hard, and I actually have a video for sensitive pups as well. So I'm assuming you've done that work, that this isn't going to be the first time that you're going to introduce a clipper prop to your dog, okay? You want to do that in a separate session. You always want to make sure that you are in a kind way, using food, introducing your props to your dogs so that they're not scared, startled, or have any fear around your grooming props, okay? So I'm going to assume you've already done that work, and that your dog has already seen a clipper. So step one is you always want to make sure in an ideal situation, it's not always going to happen, but in an ideal situation, you want the foot to be clean and dry, okay? If you are not able to do that, then you can always use like a bristle brush to brush out any of the debris on the bottom of your dog's foot and around the pads, if you can't have a clean and dry foot. And really a lot of times when we talk about our grooming tools, and we always want you to have your dog to be clean and dry when you're using your tools, is it just makes them last longer. Some of these tools are expensive, and so they will just last longer, stay in better condition, stay sharp if you're using them on clean and dry dogs. If you can't, it's okay. It's just you're being a little harder on your tools. That's all. And sometimes if the hair is too dirty, or if the fur is not completely dry, it's just going to make it harder for you to clip on the dog. And I want it to be as easy as possible for you and your dog. So that's why we always recommend that the dog's coat is clean and dry when you use your grooming tools. And one final thing before we get into the nitty-gritty here, and I bring my dog out. Usually, whenever I use a tool or talk about a tool, people ask what the tool is. My current favorite clipper is I don't know how to say it, Shermbao, Shernbao. It is a Chewy exclusive, so you'd have to find it on Chewy. I just use the base clipper. There are no add-ons on it. It's just the clipper itself. Because you need something short to really, get close to those pads. So that's the tool, my current favorite clipper tool for feet and ears. I will tell you the reason I like this is it's cordless, and it's actually fairly inexpensive. So some cordless tools really get up there, like $120 to $200. This is less than $50. And for that price, it's a good tool. So you can actually do some other clipping work, not just pad and ears. It has enough power to do that. So it's a nice all-purpose cordless clipper. And like I said, it's inexpensive, and I always like that. So it's a nice tool. I will put a link in the description of this episode, but that is the tool I'm using today and my current favorite at this time. Sometimes it changes. It's just the more and more research I do, people I'm exposed to, things I learn as I grow. Sometimes I change tools. This is the second clipper for me, and so far right now, this is my favorite. Okay. So step 2 is we are going to warm up our prop. So I always do a warm up when I start a grooming session with my dog. To me, it's starting the conversation with my dog. It's me setting the expectation, what we're doing and what tool we're using. It's no surprise, right? I don't want to surprise her. I don't want to startle her. I don't want her not to feel comfortable because she doesn't know what protocol we're doing, because some protocols she likes more than others. So I'm going to warm her up and let her kind of get used to what we're doing, so that we can ease into it. Okay. So I'm just going to feed her for coming on to her grooming space. So again, I always use a Zen bowl. I have some freeze-dried kibble here. So I would call it, for her, it's a moderate value treat, not too high, not too low. But she gets groomed a lot, so I can do that. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the tool. Good. I'm going to mark it, and I'm going to feed her. So again, I'm just going to do a little bit of a warm-up. Again, she's already seen the clipper. She knows the clipper. This is just my little warm-up. And I'm going to turn it on, get her used to the sound in the session. Good. Okay. And then the other thing I'm going to do is just move the prop closer to her. The body part that I'm going to use, just to make sure that we both are in sync. Again, just creating a conversation with her. Good. Nice job. So now we're going to move on to step 3, which is handling. So again, you would have done some handling with your dog ahead of time. Your dog would know what type of handling to expect with this procedure. But again, I'm just going to warm up my handling with my tool. It's just part of my warm-up procedure. So I'm going to just turn the tool on, kind of get my dog in that position. Good. And I'm going to mark that and feed it before I get ready to really get in here. So my dog's sufficiently warmed up. Everything's fine. There's no surprises. So step 4 is actually doing the behavior. So what we're going to do is, as I said, we're going to trim your dog's pad. There's quite a bit of hair here on my dog's foot. If you have a lot of fur and your dog is okay with scissors, you could clip excess fur first before using your clipper. I'm just going to use a clipper for the whole thing today, but you could scissor first. Now, as with everything, the more you practice, good, the better you and your dog are going to get. So I want you to first just go after all of your long pieces. So don't think about getting detailed, getting in between the pads, because there's more risk there, right? So you just want to get your dog used to the clipper. The clipper is going to go next to the pads. You're not going to go like this. The clipper isn't going to go into the foot. You want to rest the top of the clipper on your dog's foot and move the blades across the hair, okay? So the clipper is sitting on the pads. Good girl. You're not using it like a pencil, okay? Good. I'm going to give her a break there for a second. And a lot of times with feet, especially rear feet, they're ticklish. So you got to give your dog some grace for having ticklish feet, okay? Paw. Good. All right, so again, I'm first just going after all my long pieces. Anything that's kind of outside of the pads themselves. And it already looks so much better. But again, this is a good clipper, and I'm able to get a lot of hair off without trimming. Now, because it's leaf season, I may take off some additional stuff here to cut down on leaves getting into my house, which sometimes I would maybe not do that. And again, if you're not comfortable, don't do that, all right? Only do what you're comfortable with. So this is what I'm doing first, is just all good, is all the long pieces. And again, when I say good, I go up and feed my dog. She has a Zimbal she's focused on, and I am feeding her so that she will continue in the long term to enjoy these procedures, okay? All right, so once you're good, Pa, once you're good at the long pieces, see how much better that looks already? And you're feeling more comfortable, you can start cleaning up the paw even more by going in between the pads a little bit. Now, I don't do a ton of that. I'm going to do a little bit of that today. But number one, you never want to clip or burn your dog. And number two, okay, good. You want to make sure you're not cutting the flesh in between the pads, on the, underneath the pads, anything like that. So we don't want to cut any of the skin. So, but you can still get in between the pads a little bit without even getting close to the skin. So like, I'm just going to start dipping my clipper in between the pads a little bit. So I'm starting to think about using it as a pencil. But again, I'm not digging it in. I'm just scooping it in a little bit in between her pads to just clean up more. And remember, it's going to tickle. And again, you don't want to do anything you're not comfortable with or anything your dog's not comfortable with. And over time, stay. You and your dogs will get more comfortable. Good. So I just want to see if I can show you a before and after. So this is what the foot looks like before. See all that hair? Good. And this is what it looks like after. And that's not with a ton of clipping, guys. That's just with, a minute or so of clipping. All right? All right, so that's it. We were able to use a clipper to clean up our dog's pads, remove the fur from around their pads so that our dogs are able to use their pads properly, not slip on surfaces, be just more confident on their feet. So that's it. That's as easy as it can be. You just need the right tool. You need to work on handling with your dog so that your dog will accept the procedure. But I just wanted to show you today how easy it can be for you to do it in your own home. And that way you can maintain your dog's fur without stress if you need to. I hope this episode gave you the confidence to clip the fur around your own dog's pads. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy grooming.